Let me ask you something interesting. If you put 7 strong men on one side and 30 determined women on the other, who do you think would win? Most people instantly imagine the men because we're trained to think of muscles, size, and strength. But here's the truth. Real strength is not just in the body. It's in mindset, endurance, and unity. This comparison isn't about men vs women. It's about how we undervalue potential when we only look at the surface. And today, I'm going to show you why numbers, mindset, and hidden strength can change everything you thought you knew about power. Imagine this for a moment. 7 men, tall, broad-shouldered, and carrying the natural weight of confidence that society has given them, standing on one side. On the other side, 30 women, not necessarily taller, not necessarily stronger in the physical sense, but carrying something that is invisible yet incredibly powerful. Most people, when they hear 7 men versus 30 women, assume the men would dominate. We've been conditioned to see strength only through the lens of muscles and masculinity. But the truth is far more layered than that. Numbers matter, yes. Endurance matters, yes. But what matters even more is unity, persistence, and the power of underestimation. And this is where women, when gathered with purpose, often surprise the world. Think of history, think of movements, think of revolutions. How many times have women, who were thought to be powerless, stepped into roles where they proved society wrong? The ratio of 7 to 30 isn't just about comparing groups. It's about comparing the narratives we've been taught. 7 men might symbolize tradition, dominance, the expected winners. But 30 women symbolize possibility, resilience, and the strength that multiplies when people work together with vision. This is not about competition between genders. It's about challenging the illusion of who holds true power. Now picture those 7 men standing proud, thinking their physical size is enough, but size without endurance fades. Muscles tire. Ego cracks under pressure. When 30 women stand together, they bring more than physicality. They bring strategy. They bring collective energy. They bring emotional strength that has carried families, communities, and even nations through difficult times. That's the power often overlooked when we reduce strength to nothing but brute force. We often underestimate what looks soft, quiet, or delicate. But the quietest waves shape the strongest rocks over time. The women in this picture, 30 of them, carry persistence that doesn't quit when faced with difficulty. And if you've ever seen determination in the eyes of someone who's been told you can't, you know that fire burns hotter than any muscle can flex. 7 versus 30 is not just a comparison of numbers. It is a metaphor for life. In life, sometimes you will feel like the underdog, standing with fewer resources, smaller chances, and less recognition. But numbers don't always decide victory. What decides victory is the strength of your purpose, the courage in your heart, and your refusal to accept defeat. 30 people with one vision will always outlast 7 people with only confidence in their size. Now, let's flip it around. Sometimes you are the 7. You think you are strong. You think you are enough. But suddenly you are faced with 30 challenges all at once. One financial problem, one health issue, one relationship struggle, one failure, and before you know it, it feels like 30 walls closing in on you. In that moment, your strength is tested. And here lies the lesson. Just like the women in this example, those 30 challenges might seem overwhelming. But if you learn to unify your mind, discipline your habits, and focus your energy, you discover that even overwhelming odds can be faced with grace. The question of 7 men versus 30 women is not about who wins physically. It is about redefining what it means to win. Sometimes victory is not about overpowering. It is about outlasting. It is about being underestimated and using that underestimation as fuel. It is about knowing that strength comes in many forms: mental strength, emotional balance, spiritual grounding, and the power of unity. Ask yourself, what side are you on? Are you standing with the 7, confident but maybe overestimating yourself? Or are you standing with the 30, underestimated but burning with quiet determination? Life will always test you, and sometimes it's not the strongest who wins, but the most persistent, the most united, the most disciplined. So the next time you hear 7 versus 30, don't just think of physical power, think of the unseen power, the strength of character, the depth of will, the magic of persistence. Because in the real battles of life, it's not about men versus women. It's about resilience versus resignation. And if you choose resilience, no matter what side you're on, you will always come out victorious. When we think about strength, most people still imagine it as something you can see with your eyes. Broad shoulders, firm hands, a strong jawline, the kind of presence that makes people step back without a word. That's the picture of power we've been sold for generations. But strength is not only in what can be seen, it's often in what is invisible. And this is where the story of 7 men and 30 women takes on a deeper meaning. Because while men may symbolize physical strength in this comparison, women symbolize the strength of endurance, patience, and adaptability. The kind of power that cannot be measured by muscle mass alone. Think about it this way. 7 men may lift a heavy stone and move it faster than 30 women could. But if that stone needs to be carried not for minutes, but for hours, not for hours, but for days, not for days, but for years, who do you think will last? The answer might surprise you. It's the ones with endurance. It's the ones who have trained not just their bodies, but their minds to keep going when it hurts. And endurance is not just physical. It's emotional, mental, and spiritual. 30 women together may not look intimidating at first, but together they can sustain a battle far longer than 7 men can fight it alone. This is true in life as well. How many times have you seen people start strong, full of excitement, energy, and passion, but after a few weeks or months, that energy fades, that passion dies, and they quit? They were strong at the beginning, like the 7 men, but then you see someone else, someone underestimated, someone quiet, maybe someone mocked at first. They may start slower, but they don't stop. They persist, they endure, and when the race is over, it is they who remain standing. That is the story of the 30. 7 versus 30 is more than a question of numbers. It is a question of what kind of strength matters most in life. Do you want to be the one who shines brightly for a moment and burns out, or the one who glows steadily and lasts until the end? That choice defines your destiny. Let's imagine another scene. Picture 7 men rowing a boat, powerful strokes, waves splashing, moving fast. They look unstoppable. On the other side, 30 women are rowing another boat. Their rhythm isn't as fast at first, but it's steady, it's unified, it's consistent. Halfway through, the 7 men begin to tire. Their arms grow heavy. Their breath runs short. Confidence turns to strain. But the 30 women, pacing themselves, supporting one another, still rowing in unison, begin to gain ground. And by the time the finish line is near, it is no longer about who started stronger, but who had the strength to finish. That's life. Sometimes you are in a race with your dreams, and in the beginning, other people look faster, more talented, more gifted. You feel behind, you feel small, like the underestimated 30. But if you stay consistent, if you endure, if you believe in unity between your mind and your purpose, eventually you catch up. And when others fade away, you are still moving forward. The lesson of 30 verses 7 is that real strength is not found in the size of the body, but in the size of the spirit. It's in patience, in consistency, in emotional resilience. Men may symbolize the instant power of action, but women in this metaphor symbolize the quiet power of continuation. And the truth is, life rewards continuation more than instant action. So when challenges hit you, remember this. You don't have to be the strongest in the room. You don't have to be the fastest. You don't have to be the one everyone bets on at the beginning. You only have to be the one who refuses to quit. You have to be the one who keeps rowing, who keeps walking, who keeps standing even when the odds are against you. In the end, it's not 7 versus 30. It's a choice between being temporary or being timeless, between being a moment or being a movement, between burning out quickly or lasting until the victory is yours. And if you choose endurance, if you choose persistence, then no matter how the world measures you, you will always come out stronger.